Niv-Mizzet breathed a trail of smoke out of his sinuses. He angled his head a fractional angle to the side. The Izzet wished to declare war on the Selesnya, he said, his great yellow eye twitching. The dragon was gauging Jace's reaction. "You may not," said Jace quietly. After his conflict with Tezzeret had resolved, Jace took something of a break from Ravnica, his interests lying elsewhere. He began researching the Dragon Scroll, the same one Chandra had stolen years prior. In addition to ancient texts and spells, the scroll appeared to hold something else, be something else, a map, though Jace wasn't able to figure out to where. Attempting to decipher the scroll's secrets took up the majority of Jace's time, but its answer came to him one day when Garruk Wildspeaker, another planeswalker, suddenly attacked Jace's sanctum, searching for Liliana Vess. After a brief skirmish, Jace was able to calm the hunter down. Garruk explained that Vess had cursed him, and that he was hunting her to be cured. Jace reluctantly gave Garruk a plane to search, Tavella. Garruk in turn revealed that the scroll's map led to another plane, Zendikar. By the time Beleren arrived on Zendikar, he realized that Chandra Nalaar was also on the world, and was headed for a specific destination, the Eye of Ugin. Though Jace did not know what lay at the Eye, he believed it would be dangerous for Chandra to complete whatever goals she had, and so he followed after her, hiring a guide to lead the way. Soon after, the pair were attacked by the vampire Anawan, who slew Jace's guide before attacking the Mind Mage himself. Jace subdued Anawan and searched his mind to see what the vampire knew of Chandra before convincing him to lead the rest of the way. At the Eye of Ugin, Jace was surprised to find Chandra battling a dragon, suddenly locked in by a sealed door, and with his and Chandra's magic siphoned away by the nearby Hedrons. Jace's mind raced to find a solution to the dragon problem. Remembering half-deciphered clues from the scroll, Jace urged Chandra to use magic he inferred she knew: sheer fire, ghost fire, flames that could not be seen. The magic worked, and the dragon was defeated, with the resulting explosion knocking Beleren unconscious. When he came to, Jace found neither Chandra nor the dragon present, and decided to depart himself. On his way down the mountainside, Jace was suddenly attacked by a strange, massive creature he had never seen before, an Eldrazi. Unknowingly, Jace's actions at the Eye of Ugin had weakened the seal long held in place on Zendikar, keeping these creatures dormant. Beleren barely survived his encounter with the Eldrazi, and decided to leave Zendikar altogether not long after. After returning to Ravnica, Jace found himself occupied with a new puzzle. One day, while observing Izzet guild mages performing renovations, he spied a curious series of carvings on the underside of some stonework, geometric patterns and symbols that would normally be hidden from view. Initially, these symbols were a mere curiosity, until Jace saw them again at another renovation site and realized what these etchings must be: code, or pieces of a puzzle. There was a mystery lying beneath the streets of Ravnica, and Jace wanted to solve it. He reached out to a colleague, the Vidalcan Kavin, who got to work helping Jace find as many instances of this code as possible wherever they turned up. Beleren became completely devoted to trying to decipher this code, obsessed to the point of exhaustion. Around this time, Jace would be approached by his old friend, the elf Emara Tandris, who informed him that the guilds were back on the rise, reforming in earnest. Emara, for her part, was called back to the Selesnya, and she encouraged Jace to join her. Beleren, who was neither from Ravnica nor desired to be involved with the guilds, refused her offer. Still, Emara left him with a Selesnyan token, one that would allow him to contact her should the need arise. Thanks to Emara's information, Jace now knew that the Izzet were chasing the same code that he was, a code that dictated a path that led to something. Jace decided that he needed to know what the Izzet knew, and so followed Ralzeric, one of their guild mages, back to the head of the guild, the Firemind, the ancient dragon Niv Mizzet. Knowing the risks, Jace dove into the dragon's mind, and there he saw the endless possibilities the Firemind considered. The clues didn't lead to a single route. They outlined a path through a maze, one with a prize at the end. Niv Mizzet didn't know precisely what this prize was, but suspected it was a weapon, or a power, something that any of the guilds would want, and would do anything for. It was then that Jace realized the sheer danger he placed himself and Kavin into for researching the code. Beleren decided, for their own safety, he must purge the memories of their research from both of their minds. Emara tried to stop him, but Jace went ahead with the spell regardless. Unfortunately, it was already too late to avoid the attention of the guilds. As Jace was performing the spell, Rakdos brutes attacked, kidnapping Emara. Beleren recovered, only half remembering the incident, but knew that Emara had been taken and that she needed his help. Avoiding Lavinia of the Azorius, who was out to arrest him for her own reasons, Jace was eventually able to track down and save Emara, after which he learned that his work had come to the attention of the Dimir and their guildmaster, the shapeshifter Lazav. Despite knowing that he had erased his own memories over the danger, Jace still desired to solve the puzzle that had started him down this path in the first place. At the same time, he came to believe that Emara was still in danger. The Dimir were the ones who had her kidnapped, and Beleren believed they might target her again. Searching for answers brought Jace into further conflict with the Azorius and Rakdos, but also the Gruul. In the end, Jace was able to deduce the full route that the symbols had dictated. Suddenly, Niv Mizzet sent out a message across the district announcing the existence of this very route, the Implicit Maze. The dragon announced that each guild would send a representative to run the maze, each competing for the prize at the end. It was then that Lazav made his move, kidnapping Jace and taking him deep underground in an attempt to pry whatever information he could out of Jace's mind. It was here that Jace learned that Cavan was turned into a vampire, courtesy of Mirko Vosk. While he was held captive by the Dimir, Jace decided that if any of the guilds were to win the maze, the Selesnians, the Guild of Life and Harmony, would be the best choice. He telepathically contacted Amara, who was, at the moment, on bad terms with her own guild, and urged her to become the Maze Runner, sending her the route to ensure her selection. With that done, Jace escaped the Dimir prison by planeswalking away, returning to Ravnica only after a brief stay on Zendikar. Deciding to get the final answer to the puzzle, he paid a visit to the end of the maze, the Forum of Azor. Here, Jace made contact with an entity left behind by Azor, the founder of the Azorius. This being was the Bailiff, the Peyrun's proxy, who explained that the Implicit Maze was Azor's failsafe, designed to manifest if the Guildpact broke down, and that all of the guilds were needed to complete it. If they succeeded, then the Guildpact shall be actualized, and if any should fail, then the Bailiff would enact the supreme verdict of Azor. Knowing what he had to do, Jace joined Amara at the starting point of the Implicit Maze, determined to ensure victory for all. During the run through the path, Jace would contend with the other runners, the delegates of the 10 guilds of Ravnica. Through each of the 10 gates, Jace and Amara passed, until they reached the Izzet Guild Gate. There the pair were confronted by Ral Zarek, who revealed his own status as a planeswalker, and forced Jace to divulge the same to Amara. Learning that Jace was some being from another world disturbed the elf, and she continued on without him, while Jace was forced to defend himself from Zarek. Beleren almost lost his life in this encounter, but his illusions allowed him to slip away and, alongside the other maze runners, even Ral, Jace ended up at the maze's end. Here, once again, Lazav made a move, manipulating the guild representatives to argue and fight amongst one another. And when the Bailiff manifested and saw the conflict among the guilds, it handed out its judgment. The supreme verdict was a spell of total annihilation and devastation, one that it now allowed any of the guild runners to activate. Thinking fast, Jace used his magic to connect the minds of all the maze runners, using himself as a conduit. In one moment, each was able to sense the thoughts and emotions of the others. Each was joined in a circle of beliefs and ambitions, a single, unified way of life. For the first time in perhaps thousands of years, the guilds were, in one moment, united. The strain of connecting so many thoughts at once almost proved to be too much, and Jace could feel his own mind unraveling in the effort. Fortunately, he received aid from the Bailiff, feeling empowered by the entity, and changed as a result. Jace was overwhelmed with a light emanating from the Bailiff, the judgment of Azor complete. to the surprise of those present, the bailiff decreed that the Guildpact had returned, but it was no longer a blind, binding contract. Instead, the Guildpact lived as a living mediator, an arbitrator who could pass judgments. And so, Jace Beleren, the man without a past, became Jace, the living Guildpact, the most important man on the plane of Ravnica. In the aftermath of the Implicit Maze, work began on the new Embassy of the Guildpact, where Jace would see petitions from the guilds and issue his decrees. He knew that he was only one man, and that he needed advisors to help him reach the best decisions for a given situation, and so Jace started looking for representatives from the 10 guilds to aid him. Jace was approached once more by Amara, who was conflicted about what she learned about Beleren, about planeswalkers and other worlds. Though he was hesitant, Jace fulfilled her request, wiping her mind of such knowledge. With that done, the new living Guildpact got to work in enforcing balance between the 10 guilds. He had a great deal of work ahead of him, and while he didn't yet know it, his actions would affect not only Ravnica, but many other worlds as well, though that is a story for another time. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was part 2 of a 2-part series exploring Jace Beleren's early lore. If you enjoyed, then consider leaving a like or sharing this video with your friends. If you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, you'll be alerted whenever I upload new videos. And if you have a character or event you'd like me to talk about, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Finally, this video was brought to you by my wonderful patrons. Patrons support this channel with their donations and in turn get early access to all of my lore videos. If you want to help out, a link will be in the description below. Thanks again and have a great day.